Hey guys, let's get into things heard and seen released on Netflix. It stars Amanda Seyfried, James Norton, Natalie Dyer. There's a lot of big names in this movie. Some of the stuff coming from Netflix is quite good. And this one here, I don't think there's any middle ground with this film. You're either going to love it or hate it. And for me, I don't know what I think of this movie quite so far. It's a drama, horror, mystery. There's a lot of stuff to unpack in this movie, and it's your basic ghost story. A family moved to a new home in the countryside, and there's the relationship between them is already strained, and then this house has a haunting in there and a history of death. And as the movie progresses forward, you get to see how reality of the stuff that's actually happening in the real world is connected to the history of this house and what happened there. You find out that there is not just an evil force in this house, but a good force as well. So there's a good ghost, bad ghost sort of deal going on. But the movie itself packs a lot more in there than what I think it was comfortable in doing. And there's a whole load of art theology sort of stuff going on in there that, the story is really intertwined through art theory, all that sort of thing, religious theory. And it's a thinking person's movie. It's not one of these ones that you could sit down and just switch off and watch. You're really going to have to use your head with this one and really take it all in, and give it a fair chance. Like, it's a long film. It's just 2 hours or 2 hours plus. Let me just check the runtime on that. 2 hours 1 minute. I think perhaps about 25 minutes too long. I think what they did in the movie they could have done a bit quicker. It's one of these openers to a movie that it shows you something that happens almost at the end of the movie, and then it skips back slightly into the past and then leads up towards this moment. But there's a little piece on there that they had shot that you were waiting, for me personally, I was waiting throughout the entire film for this one part to pay off. But when we got to this section of the movie, it kind of skipped right over that and went to something else right after it. And the end of the film itself is, don't get me wrong, it makes perfect sense in the story that it's telling. But for me, it just felt there should have been more there. Some of the horror aspects in the movie were quite good, but again, I wanted more right there. It was very, very subtle in the haunting and the way things played out. But again, it made perfect sense in the story they were trying to tell. But for the film that I was going on expecting, wasn't quite the film I got. And even at the recording of this review, I don't think this makes much sense even to me and the stuff that I'm saying. But if you sit down and watch the movie, I think chances are you might fall onto similar ground and what I have. I'm the sort of person that can watch any movie, and even if I'm not enjoying the movie, I can take something from it as far as storytelling, or in the way things is shot and whatnot. It's a beautifully put together movie. And for me, I kind of felt that I needed more by the end of this movie. But it does kind of wrap it up, but not in the way that I would have wanted. But if you're in there, take it all. And really, as soon as I finish this review, I'm actually going to go back, watch the movie again, just to take in any little pieces that I might have missed out on, because as I said, give it a fair chance. This movie did, in places, fall victim to the social media test. It's a big thing that I always think about whenever I'm watching movies. Is a movie engaging enough to keep you away from your phone? Unfortunately for me, this one wasn't. In the first 40 minutes or so of it, takes a while to get going, and there was a moment there where I was kind of thinking, screw this, I'm going to turn it off and watch something else. But I'm kind of glad I stuck with it whenever it does get into the meat of the story. And more or less the second half of the movie, more engaging than the first. But, if you are messing about in your social media, instead of watching that first half of the movie, it's going to feel quite just disjointed at the end of the movie for you. So I definitely need to rewatch it again. Would I recommend it? If you're into ghost stories and wasn't even so much go into horror in this one. Like I felt like the ghost story side of the thing, there's a few light horror aspects in there. So if you're into your hardcore horror movies, you're not going to get it from this. But if you're you're into ghost stories, dramas, it's definitely worth checking out. But I don't think there's going to be a real big rewatchability factor for this one. Definitely not for me. I'm going to watch it a second time just to fill in some of those blanks. But yes, that's down to yourself. If you want to take 2 hours of your day to check this movie out, I feel most people won't think of it as a waste of time. But as I said, there's no middle ground in this. You're either going to love it or hate it. And I think, in all honesty, the vast majority of people not going to enjoy this movie.